The Philadelphia Eagles have officially ruled out Fletcher Cox for this game against the Rams. This is per Derek Gunn. So I want to talk about how this unfortunate situation might actually help the Philadelphia Eagles defense moving forward. So let's talk about it.
You want Philly?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and it is Philly the podcast. So today I want to talk about how Fletcher Cox's injury might actually help this defensive coordinator and this defense moving along in the future. Now, before we get into that, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the family. We are on the road to 6K. We are only 20 away from 6K. So I would love for you guys to join the family. Now, let's hop right into this, man. So Derek Gunn, just about 6 or 7 minutes ago, prior to me recording this video, came out and said that Fletcher Cox is officially ruled out against the Los Angeles Rams. This is not a good thing. Obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles, they are, born and bred on that defensive and offensive line. So losing players, it's looking like Cam Jurgens won't play as well. Losing players on those lines is definitely not something you want to see. But at least in the sense of, the defensive line, we got some dogs, right, that can literally come on in and help this defensive line, and honestly may have been underused. So we obviously know that Fletcher Cox has been playing a massive amount of snaps this year. He has been very good. I mean, he's earned all of his snaps, looking like the Fletcher Cox of old at some points. But the thing is, and we saw it after the first week, he is a little bit older. He is a little bit more beat up. So these injuries are going to come up. He had an epidural. He had an injection to try and relieve some pain that he was having in his back, but it does not look like it is going to be good enough to go on Sunday. Now, who comes in and maybe takes some of those snaps? Jaylen Carter. Jaylen Carter has looked amazing all season so far, leading all rookies in pressures, sacks, and forced fumbles. So he has looked the part of the first round pick. He's looking to make a lot of people mad that they passed on him, 8 teams to be exact. But he has looked amazing, and honestly, I feel like he's been underused. I understand that Fletcher Cox is an amazing athlete, amazing player, Eagles Hall of Famer. I mean, he might be an NFL Hall of Famer as well. You can definitely make a great argument for him, but he's definitely one of the best Eagles to ever put on that suit, on that jersey, right? So it's gonna be tough losing him, but at the same time, I think that this opens the door for Jalen Carter and, more importantly, Sean Desai to see what they can do when given those snaps. I feel like Sean Desai has, I don't even want to say played favoritism, but he's definitely taken the side of Fletcher Cox a little bit more. And looking at some of the other guys that have played, it feels like he tends to lean towards the guys that have been here, right? Josh Jobe is getting starts. Maybe Eli Ricks deserves those. Well, that's a whole different conversation for a whole different time. But as far as this line goes, you want to see these young guys get some snaps. Nolan Smith was not getting enough snaps. He's starting to come along a little bit more, utilized in some weird ways. But this is about Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter deserves these snaps. And I feel as though if Jalen Carter goes out there and balls the heck out, which I think he will, you might see Sean Desai saying, okay, maybe my philosophy is a little bit wrong. Maybe I need to get these young guys out there. Every single time that I see Jalen Carter out on the field, I see a play made. I see a young kid that is hungry to get into that backfield, whether it's on a play that he makes or a play someone else makes. You see his impact. I've seen him double teamed. I've seen him triple teamed. He makes an impact on this defense. And I'm not saying that Fletcher Cox doesn't, but when you have a 1-2 punch like that, you got to utilize that second punch, right? You can't just jab all fight. You can't just keep jabbing, and then, expect one play to be that home run hit. You have to go put Jalen Carter out there. You have to see what he has. And I think that this may be huge for the defense moving forward. Again, not saying that losing Fletcher Cox is a good thing. It's far from that. But seeing what these young kids have and putting that confidence in not only them, but the coaching staff to go ahead and put them out there is going to help us against big competition, right? We have a stretch of some very, very tough and very important games, right? You have the Bills, you got the Chiefs, you got the Cowboys twice, you got Washington again. We have to be ready. We have to know what our dogs can do, what our guys can do in general. And I feel as though we get to see a little bit of a glimpse of what this future is going to to be with this defensive line. Jalen Carter headlining it. Now, I'm assuming he's going to get the start next to Jordan Davis. I'm assuming you're going to see a lot of snaps out of Jalen Carter. This is what our future of our defensive line is going to look like, and I think it's going to be bright. I think that this team has a very bright future when it comes to that defensive line. So now it's time to see it, right? Now it's time to see it in work. And again, I want to reiterate this a million times. Losing Fletcher Cox is not a good thing. Losing Fletcher Cox is not something you just snap your fingers and you replace. But we have a guy that we have on this roster for a reason. So I'm looking forward to seeing more from him. I'm looking forward to seeing more from Milton Williams. I feel he's another guy that Milton Williams has been playing very well in the snaps he's given, and maybe not enough snaps, right? You might see Amoro Ojomo get actually activated this week. I think this is the time. This is the time you want to, I don't even want to say fail, because we haven't been failing, right? We've been winning. But this is the time you want to struggle. This is when you want to figure out what you have, where they go, what they can do. Let's not forget. Jonathan Gannon had a little bit of time with his defense. This is Sean Desai's first time with his defense, first time with Nick Sirianni, first time with a lot of these players, first time with a lot of these style of players, right? When you look at what he had in Chicago, kind of different from what he has in Philadelphia. So I understand that he likes those 4-man fronts. I understand that he doesn't like to, blitz too much. He does blitz, don't get me wrong, and we're seeing more of it. But I need to see some of those stunts. I need to see you going crazy on that offensive line, because when we look at the Rams, if we let Matt Stafford, who has a bum hip right now, if we let him just sit in the pocket and try to pick us apart, they got Puka, they got Koopa, they got a team that can go ahead and do that to us. I don't want to see it happen. I feel like this whole season so far, we've been waiting for this defensive line to surge, and this might be the game. Not only with Fletcher Cox out and seeing the young guys get to go out there and prove what they have, but Hassan Reddick even said, and I quote, that he's going to ride the wave of sacks. He feel like there's going to be a lot of sacks over these next couple of weeks. And if you look at the Philadelphia Eagles last year, it took them a couple games, especially Hassan Reddick, took them a couple games to really get into that groove and really start getting some sacks. Ended up with double-digit sacks, I believe led the league, if I'm not mistaken, or at least was close to it. So I am excited. I am so excited. This is the game that we can really see not only the future, but I think the immediate future. I think that there is a strong case to be made that you have to get Jalen Carter more snaps. You got to get Milton Williams more snaps. Fletcher Cox is an all-pro, all-everything, Pro Bowler, whatever you want to say, he's done it. But we have a future to worry about, and we have games to win at the end of the day. If you can get Fletcher Cox out there for, maybe 10% less snaps, add 10% of a workload to Jalen Carter, maybe get Jordan Davis out a couple more snaps, get, Milton Williams out there, I think that you start to see what you have as a rotation. So look, I'm not saying that losing Fletcher Cox was a blessing in disguise. Nothing like that. There was nothing like that. I definitely, it sucks to lose him for one game, one season. It doesn't matter. It sucks to lose an emotional leader like that, right? We saw what happened with Brandon Graham when he went down. He might not put up, even though last year he put up some crazy numbers, career numbers, he might not every year put up 10 sacks, but the emotional leadership that he brings, and you can say the same thing with Fletcher Cox. He might not be the best player on every single down like he was back then, but now he has that emotional leadership, that ability to tell these young guys, hey, this is what I'm seeing, be ready for this, and he's had a pretty darn good year. So I don't want to see any of our guys get hurt. I want to reiterate that, because I feel like that's going to be in the comments. People are going to be like, look at you celebrating injured, and I'm not. Far from it. But I am celebrating the fact that we now get to see our number 9 pick overall go out there and do what we want him to do. And I think that we're going to, we're not going to be surprised, right? Eagles fans aren't going to be surprised, because we know what he is and we know what he can be. I think the NFL's got a shot coming. Because I don't feel that the NFL has fully respected what Jalen Carter has been doing. You might see this, you might see the tweets, you might see the, random people saying, oh, Jalen Carter's doing really good. I want my guy talked about as one of those top guys, and I think this game might put him there. So I wanted to put this news out there. I wanted to know what you guys think. Also, also, like I said, Cam Jurgens is looking like he might not be playing Sunday, so that is a big loss as well. We're probably going to see a lot of Sua Opeta, which I will talk about tomorrow on the Philly Morning Joe. So definitely join me there. You know, the morning shows have been amazing. I've kind of switched back to doing the lives, which is kind of my home, right? But I wanted to get this video out. I appreciate everybody that supports the show, everybody that supports the channel. But other than that, y'all know what it is, man. Y'all know what it's going to be. It's Fly Eagles Fly. And people on the Morning Joe have been saying it with me, so you're more than welcome to throw this in the comments. But yeah. Peace!
Everywhere. This is for you.
Yeah. Fly Eagles flying on the team. Touchdown. Time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a Bird Gang Nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling on Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man saw Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randall. Season hit, early time to do him in. Your boy Philly Fresco. Thanks for tuning in.